Last weekend I managed to do a couple of things. Among these are some idler pulleys and a NEMA 17 mount for the stepper motor, and also the stepper motor, and a few other miscellaneous bits and pieces arrived. So I'll walk you through what I did and show you where it goes and what the results are. And since the weekend was quite busy, I didn't manage to do videos of everything I did, so here goes. I said I machined a few cubes. There are 27.5 by 27.5 by 25 millimeters. I started out by machining crosses on both sides, leaving a few millimeters in between, and so I could just put it back in the vise. And then I drilled the holes. Unfortunately, I didn't get the hole positions quite right, or overestimated the milling slot. So just drilled basically the holes. I didn't ream them because I don't have a 16 millimeter reamer, and yeah, they just accommodate two 625C bearings and a dowel pin. It's 5 millimeter by 24 millimeter dowel pin. Those are the dowel pins, and there you can see the bearings. And there's just a regular tooth pulley for the GT2 tooth belt. And they just sit in there nicely. At first it was a bit stiff and the bearings seized, but that was due to the error in cylindrical shape of the hole. And once I just sanded the holes a bit, ever so slightly, it was no longer press fit, and now the bearings run smoothly without too much tolerance for the bearing seating. And there you go. Let me just show you how it turned out. On the bottom side, I didn't drill all the way through, leaving about a millimeter or half a millimeter of ferrous string, maybe just a collar that holds the lower bearing, and that's necessary because the dowel pin protrudes slightly out of the inner race of the bearing, and this clears the dowel pin from the plate that the idler pulley is mounted on. And it just sits in there and turns nicely, and and as the end result, it's quite a funny contraption, which you can see here in action. This is the cross slide of the XY plotter table, and it's just mounted on a small angle. And yeah, that's basically what it looks like. I will be mounting them also on all these L brackets for the main axis, and yeah, they're just mounted there with M4 screws bolt right on, and that's what you're looking at. I think this is going to work out nicely. It's a bit massive, yeah, it could cut down the weight, but then again, the stepper motor is also a bit on the heavy side, so there's not much doing there. The cool thing is, this whole Makeblock stuff is 16 millimeters grid, so you can just drill the holes on the bottom side, and they work out nicely with the whole system and all. On to the next part. I mentioned I got some NEMA 17 stepper motors, and I had to mill a bracket for one, and unfortunately I don't have the 22 millimeters end mill or drill to get the hole right. So I had to help myself out there a bit. Let me show you what this turned out to be. There we go. There's the stepper motor for the cross axis, and it's just bolted down there on two sides, and I think it's going to be good enough because most of the movement will be levering action, and there are 4 screws horizontal that keep it in place. So yeah, I think that's going to be good enough. You can barely tilt the motor, so even when the belt is tensioned, I don't see any issues arising from that way of mounting it. Yeah, so now we got the limit switches, we got the mechanics tidied up a bit, and we got the idler pulleys in place. Now we can put on some belts. Oh, by the way, this is what the motors look like right now. I inserted some brass sleeves there to make the fit, because the motor axis from the small 0.4 Newton meter stepper motors is 4 millimeters, and I ordered pulleys for 5 millimeter shaft diameter, Well, there you go. So I fixed that, and yeah, after putting on the belts, the upper axis needs some limit switches. See, I just held the belt there in place for you to enjoy. And once that's done, we can look at driver electronics and then firmware, follow up by some controller software. And maybe we'll be doing some pick and place also. So yeah, stay tuned. Lots of ideas coming up. See you next time. Thanks for watching.